This is seriously one of the best upcycles I've done to date. I just loved every part of the process. First off, I actually put stripper onto the paint to get rid of the paint on the knobs, and ended up stripping the whole drawer back, and it turned out to be beautiful remove, so I thought that's a keeper. And then I washed the whole piece down just with soapy water. I applied Newton's chalk finish paint in the beautiful French styled colour called Maison Grey. Just paint straight on over the previous painted surface. There's no sanding, priming or prep required, other than what I did on the drawer and the knobs, which I did have to use highly toxic stripper, but it was worth the result. I ended up applying the stripper to this side of the cabinet as well, due to the fact it had huge chips out of it, and they weren't coming out. So I just stripped all of the paint back with the stripper. I decided to use French labels transfer, which I've used several of these designs on previous projects. I cut out the words homemade and the florals underneath it, as that was the right fit for the front of the drawers. Centered it up, peeled the back off very carefully, making sure I didn't touch the design, and placed it on. Then all there is to do is scrape away with the scraper that comes in the pack with the transfer. Once it's applied, pull it up and it's good to go. Using a screwed up paper towel, I rubbed over very gently over the transfer, just making sure it was all applied correctly. From the same transfer pack, the French labels pack, I found that they had two florals which are just about identical. So I thought they'd be perfect to put on the front of the mirror and just take away the plainness of them. So I went through the same process, cut them out, then scraped over with the stick, just straight on to the mirror. I also placed these lovely French script words on the front of the doors. I actually placed them so it went over both of them, and it looks really amazing. It's such a versatile transfer as this French labels. Using our beautiful Newton Satin Sheen Clear Varnish, I sealed the knobs, and I also sealed the drawer with the transfer on it, which I had previously stripped back. It's a beautiful sealer for natural wood as well as chalk paint, and it came up really just beautifully. I decided to seal the rest of the unit with our Newton's Clear Beeswax polish. It's beautiful, soft wax, which is lavender scented, and it's just so lovely to use. So this acts as a sealant also for the transfers. So I just brushed it on all over the whole unit, except for not on the glass. That does not need sealing on the glass or the mirrors. I lightly distressed it back because I wanted to give it a shabby chic, vintage, French country type of look. So just mainly on the edges, I just gradually sanded it back on the corners, and I didn't go too overboard, just it was quite subtle really, but it just gave it the impression of it being aged and vintage. Lastly, I added antiquing wax. So I just brushed it on, and mainly in the corners and nooks and crannies, wherever they were. It's important to use the antiquing wax after you've clear waxed. It doesn't matter when you distress it, but it does matter that you have to antique wax only after using the clear wax. So while the antiquing wax is still wet, I then rub it back lightly, and it just leaves this gentle staining and gives you the impression of age. And that's basically all there is to this upcycle. That is it. All good and finished. I hope you enjoyed the process, and give it a go. I'm sure you can create something just as beautiful yourself. I would be so grateful if you would kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will then be advised every time I load up a new tutorial. Thanks for watching.